What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. Is this on? Yeah, it's on. Sometimes you got to make sure it's on. You know what I'm saying? I don't see the light activating. I don't know, just be talking for no reason. That's happened before. You ever record a whole podcast and realize you didn't record a whole podcast? That shit can happen. But thanks for listening on Omni Studio, iTunes, Spotify, and watching on YouTube or wherever you see the clips on Instagram at Soccer Comic Rant. And we're going to talk about weekend 26 in the Premier League. And we're going to go from the top of the table. We're going to talk about Liverpool and Chelsea in the Carling Cup. We're going to ask some questions about Pochettino and the disappointments of Man United. We're going to find out what that Southampton do down in the Championship, and what else? We talk a little, slip in a little Bundesliga because it's kind of relevant now because Bayer Leverkusen have a coach that three teams want. Yeah, and I want to know if there's ever been a time, or do you ever remember, Lee? And we have Lee Hudson, stand-up comic, Southampton fan, co-hosting. What up, man? How's it going?
Yeah, well, good. It's a busy weekend of travel. So I was doing some shows in Leeds
Uh-huh.
on Saturday,
Oh yeah, yeah.
which yeah, it was interesting. The host went up and talked. The host was a Leeds fan. He went up and talked to the audience, who are a bunch of Leeds fans. Um, and then I was headlining that gig. I went on. I was just like, oh, it's pretty weird for me to be here right now because I'm a Southampton fan, and the whole room booed me. Uh, I was like, I don't know why you're booing me. I was like, we're handing it to you right now. You should be cheering me.
Hmm.
And yeah, they were fun. It was all good natured. So yeah, I had a fun weekend in Leeds.
Does that mean you lost this weekend? I mean
Yeah,
Southampton lost. Oh man.
yeah. And Leeds won their big game against Leicester. So
Oh
um,
shit.
they're they're in form right now. Leeds have just won, like not even unbeaten. They've won 9 games in a row.
Jesus.
And they've only conceded like 2 goals in that time or something crazy. So they're the form team right now.
They're the form team. All right. All right. We'll really get into it a little bit later. And then just hold this question for me. And anybody watching, hold this question and then leave it in the comments, your response to it. Has there ever been a time in European football where three of the name brand teams already know that their coach is leaving at the end of the season? Liverpool coach is out at the end of the season. Man, Liverpool coach, uh, Bayern Munich's coach, and who is the other coach? And Barca.
Mm.
Like normally people get fired. Like right now, these three clubs have gentlemen agreements. Where if they have better gentlemen agreements than Harry Kane had with Dan Levy a few seasons ago. Like like these coaches are out. And two of those clubs could possibly and I feel like Bayern, one of their reasons is like if we announce that our coach is leaving now, we can get Xavi Alonzo because we don't want him to go to Liverpool. You know, like hey man, we got a job available at the end of the season, so you can't just let him just walk into the only club available, without putting up a fight for him. Like so you played for us more than you played for them. So yeah, we'll get back to that. We're gonna go back to the top of the table, and Liverpool didn't play. They're at the top of the table. They got 60 points. They've played 26 games, and but they did play this weekend, and they played versus Chelsea in the Carabao Cup final. And did you
Hmm.
get a chance to check that out? And what's your vibes and thoughts on it?
Yeah, I watched the highlights when I got home,
Mm-hmm.
and I was sort of following the game just online earlier, and yeah, it kind of feels like a missed opportunity for Chelsea, um, in a way, because they had chances in that game. Um, Gallagher missed a big chance. Jackson
3
marginally
big
offside
chances.
as well. Yeah. They just, they had it, I think, in their sort of in their sights. And Liverpool were dealing with injuries. No Salah, no
Mm-hmm.
Jota. Um, some of the midfield missing as well. Sobolai, I think, was out. Um, they were missing players at the back as well. No Trent, Allison. This was a patched up Liverpool team to a certain extent. A lot of young players in the starting lineup. A lot of young players come off the bench for them as well. And yeah, just missed opportunity for Chelsea. And then Liverpool, they rode their luck a little bit. They defended well at times. Kelleher made a couple of big saves as well. And
Yeah.
then, Van Dijk, he got a goal chalked off earlier in the game, and then he finally got the one that mattered in the end. And it just feels like Chelsea ran out of steam a little bit in that. Pochettino obviously came out and said that they were playing for penalties as well, which we know has upset Neil because he thinks the game was there for the taking as well.
Uh-huh.
And that's always a dangerous thing to do, to try and sit on that. And Van Dijk made it count. He punished him. He had the opportunity to get on the end of that corner, and there was a few Chelsea players around him as well. There was like 3 Chelsea players around him, but he wanted to make sure he got on the end of that. And the header was, he directed it perfectly, and he got his goal. So yeah, I think Chelsea have got themselves to blame for not getting anything out of this. Klopp's got his first farewell trophy of the
Uh-huh.
season. Whether it ends up being the only trophy, we'll see. He might be getting more. I mean, they're definitely going to stay in the FA Cup because we play them on Wednesday in the
Oh
FA
yeah.
Cup. Southampton play them at Anfield, and the way we're playing right now, even if we were at our best, I wouldn't fancy us to get a result there. So yeah, especially the way we're playing at the moment, that one I think is going to be a walkover for Liverpool. So they're definitely going deep into the FA Cup, top of the league, like you say, right now, albeit by 1 point after City's win. And yeah, just there's trophies there to be won. He's got one on the board. So whatever happens, Klopp's got some success to put up in that final season. But I wouldn't bet against him adding at least one more trophy.
I'm trying to bring up like the Caribou Cup the way it normally comes. Like, how do I get to this contest on my phone as you're talking? So I'm listening. So let me see. Let me see if I can, because I want to look at the team lineup the way. Oh, here it is, schedule. So then when I go schedule, now it keeps going to this version that's tough for me because you were naming
Which
Liverpool's.
lineup? Which lineup do you want? The Liverpool one?
Yeah, because that was the point where I was going to start at. Like
Yeah.
initially, when you like look at this game before you know who's going to play who, you're like, this is Liverpool's game. But it was kids versus kids. Like, so Chelsea definitely had a shot just based on this. Like, who had the youngest team? You had to do the math to figure it out and carry fractions because like there's so many names on the Liverpool team that I've just become acquainted with. Like they're just as much as a hodgepodge of players, maybe even more than Chelsea. So this was really a shot for Chelsea. If you look at the lineups, there's besides Van Dijk, like this is like okay, and Kanote's been playing good, so he's a good to have as a center back. So I would give, but even he's newish, you know, and he's newish. But Elliot was on the right. I think maybe it was Gakpo or somebody
Yeah.
playing 9. He's definitely new. He came like halfway through last season, and then the midfield was new, like Endo and McAllister and who else was in there? I can't see the lineup.
Gravenberch.
Gravenbatch knew, knew Gravenbatch couldn't even get a starting or just any time at Bayern Munich, and which is ironic. Like, how could Gravenbatch not get time at Bayern Munich, right? No time at all. Then I watched a Bayern Munich game this weekend, and they're struggling, even though they won the game eventually. But they're like 8 points behind the leaders, and Eric Dyer is starting for them. And they Gravenbach is thriving at Liverpool. They're at the top of the table. They just won a cup, but he can start for Liverpool. So Bayern Munich need to figure out their priorities, just period, aside from this game. So you start Eric Dyer, but you wouldn't play Gravenbach, and now Liverpool is playing Gravenbach, and Gravenbach just won a cup, and Liverpool's at the top of the table, ahead of the treble winners, Man City and Arsenal, who is kicking ass. The season ain't over, but the math ain't adding up right now. So I guess we got to wait till the end of the season for the math to add up on that. But yeah, it's just strangers versus strangers. And the red strangers beat the blue strangers. The irony of this game is Pochettino has never won this cup. And whenever he hasn't won it in the past with Spurs, he would shit on the cup and say, it's a minor cup. This is not, we going for the big cups. But the irony of this time, this was a big cup today. This was the biggest this cup has ever been for you, because if you win this, no matter where you finish this season, you keep your job. And I know all this mess at Chelsea and the results are not your fault. It's just whoever comes in is going to struggle a little bit. But this was a title in England for you, which you haven't won. And if you'd won it, the people that want you out now, some of them would say keep him, and some of them would have to at least be silent. So the cup that you shit on years ago has come back to haunt you. So I just want to point out the irony of that. And I just want to read what Neil said, because Neil was in the chat. So I'll just read what he said in the chat. Because, I thought Chelsea gave him a game. I said, you guys had a shot at it. It's a game of margins. Would have had one if Gallagher had put away, one of those 3 chances. And Neil's like, I don't blame the players for not winning in regulation time, but I blame Poch for giving up entirely on extra time. We finished the 90 minutes on top and then proceeded to play 40% possession passive football versus Liverpool's under 12s. Hilarious. I didn't even realize he wrote under 12s. What Pochettino did with his tactics in extra time is the management equivalent of missing open goal after open goal. The players missing at least have the excuse of being young and raw. What excuse does Poch have in his 15th managerial year? So that's what are people saying on sports talk and out there about Poch now?
Neil wasn't far off with the under 12s, Jai, because the team that Liverpool started with, there was some inexperience there, but most of those players, even though they were missing key players, a lot of the players they had have got appearances. But the guys they brought off the bench, Clark, McConnell, Dans, Kwanzaa, those are kids with barely any games under their belt. And yeah, people were mainly saying that Chelsea or Pochettino, he bottled it. That's the word bottled it, or the phrase bottled it is going around a lot amongst English football fans. So that's a general consensus. And like I was saying earlier, that Chelsea had it there for the taking and just didn't step up in the big moment, whereas Liverpool did.
Right. All right. So that's the word. Liverpool top of the table. Man City again grinding through a win versus, I think it was Nottingham Forest, 1-0. No, it wasn't Nottingham Forest.
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth. Yeah, Bournemouth. So, Haaland takes a shot, keeper saves it. Ricochet goes to Foden. Foden puts it in the back of the net. I hope and think that's what happened, yeah. But Man City win. Do you call that an assist? When a person takes a shot, keeper parries it wide, and is it recorded as an assist? It is officially.
Yeah.
Oh shit! All right, that's good. That means Bruno Fernandes has an assist. and everybody was saying hasn't been productive because the goal that Maguire scored, people are angry about our loss. But I don't feel anything about this Man City win. Like they won, it's not as impressive. Like here's the thing: they spent their extra game that they had in hand, and now Liverpool is ahead of them still. And so now you don't have to be like what's going to happen when Man City plays their games. They're in hand. Are they going to pass Liverpool? No, they played them, and they're at 59 points. They're a point behind, and so Liverpool, Man City, and Arsenal have all, and including Aston Villa, have all played 26 games. And it's how many games are left? I'm terrible at math.
12 for those
12
teams
games
that
left.
are on 26. Yeah.
Do you have anything to say about the Bournemouth Man City win?
Yeah, just it was a solid performance from Bournemouth. They caused them some problems. Edison had to make a couple of big saves. Solanke was a problem. They got some other good players like Semenyo as well, who's in there running at people. So, yeah, and Bournemouth are no pushovers right now. So to go away and win 1-0, just solid. Haaland did miss a couple of chances. But I think that's a sort of win where if they do end up winning the league, City, that's the sort of win they'll look back on and go, yeah, we needed to get that. It was a grind. It was a grind it out, job done win. In as much as a City win can be a grind out job, they still played their football. But yeah, Bournemouth no pushovers, so got to respect it. They got the win. Which is, they just need to keep that pressure on Liverpool. So they did their job. They only just did it, but they did their job.
And I'm all for the little man and for the underdog. So as far as Bournemouth is concerned, I'm just going to do their place in the table now. They're 14th. And the reason why I bring that, because the little man, I feel, is Gary O'Neill. And I'm going to jump to Wolves at 8th. And they won this weekend. So Bournemouth, I'm going to constantly remind you that you're in 14th place. You let me see, you're not in the relegation battle. You should be good. You should be good, but you did fire a coach who's in 8th.
Who's now 10 points ahead of you.
10 points ahead of you. So I just to let y'all know, just to remind you, like, what time it is. That's all. That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to let you know that Gary O'Neill, the coach you fired, who got a last-minute job at Wolves, who had a shittier team than you, is how many points ahead of him?
10. But 10. Bournemouth have a game. Bournemouth have a game on them.
All right, I'll give you that, Bournemouth, but he's in 8th place. So I just want you to know. Just want to go to the Arsenal game. Arsenal's 3rd. They have 58 points. I mean, this is a tight-ass race. But you know how even months ago I asked you, like, the thing that impresses me on Arteta is how fast Arsenal starts their games. Like they start them on the way to the ground. You know what I mean? They're just, I've never seen just ready. There's no wasting no time. I think they sleep in their uniforms and then they just wake up in the morning, take off their robe, and they stretch in their sleep and they just like, let's play. Now they're starting even faster. That I don't even the last they were 3-0 up, like 30-something minutes into this game. The same as the week before and the week before and the week before. Like like you feel like you're watching them play the same team in a different uniform every week. That's how bananas and serious Arsenal is. Like the game is over first half. Game is over first half. So this is why, I just got to believe in them now. I believe in Arsenal now until they make me not believe in them. So it's up to you, Arsenal, to figure out a way how to bottle this one, because this team is, they cranked up. Like these are like Nazis on meth. Like they they these. Did you ever hear that, like Rommel, the German tank, that they used to take meth, and that's how they like won like the first half of the, what did they call that during World War II? Like, because they fought in the deserts in Africa, and so that their tank, they just used to just blitz people and just they won a lot, but they said they used to take meth. That's what that's the pace that Arsenal approaches the game. Sorry, I digress too much. But what do you think of the Arsenal's results?
Yeah, I mean, they're just ruthless at the moment, which is what they needed to do, because they weren't scoring enough goals a little bit early in the season when they had that sort of, when they tailed off a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's a 2-point gap between them and Liverpool, and Man City are right in the middle of them. So the fact that from first to third is separated by 2 points, I think is good for the league. And like I said before, long may it continue, because if there's still that much in it on the final day, I would love all three of them to still have a chance on the final day.
Yeah.
We get some drama. But yeah, credit to Arsenal. I mean, they took Newcastle apart. They were clinical. How put Loris Karius in for Dubravka in goal. Pretty sure
Loris
he's regretting that
Karius
one now.
And Loris Karius is just Loris Karius in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they got that. Well, they got that Champions League final, Loris Karius. He was, there's a reason he hasn't been playing much. But I mean, Dubravka hasn't been that great for them, and Newcastle were, they're on the slide. They're below Wolves now. Eddie Howe's, I think he's reaching that danger zone of testing the owner's patience. Like, I know there's some mitigating circumstances, the injuries they've had and stuff, but when you start sliding down the table, when you've had that level of finance available to you, then people are going to ask questions. And yeah, just Arsenal made it look easy. Like, obviously Newcastle got the consolation goal back, but yeah, I mean, I don't think Arsenal, they like, once they got into that lead after that quick start, they kind of just coasted. And then they added the fourth as well, and then yeah, it's just a solid win. Like I say, hopefully this title race, they stay in it. They don't have their little another wobble, as Arsenal kind of do sometime around sort of March, April time. Hopefully they can stay in it until the end.
Yeah. I mean, they're like second in goal difference. Like a team that I felt just didn't have the firepower to stay with Man City and Liverpool are definitely proving me wrong. They're doing it without their 9. There's like Gabriel Jesus, who, and it's like, and it's funny. Like I did a show this weekend in Palm Springs on Friday, so that's where I was on Friday, and it's rare when like the people who promote the show and some of the comics are into football. There's this Mexican dude. Oh, fuck. Damn, I forgot his name. But he's a Man City fan. He brought me a Man City jersey, like as if it was a gift. So that was rude as shit. So you know what? You deserve me forgetting your name. But then Brandon, one of the promoters, Brandon Taylor, he's an Arsenal fan. So we were talking. It was good to talk some football with some of the people up there. And the Palm Springs scene is it's going on, and everybody hangs out and it's cool up there. But just back to the match, that was Newcastle that Arsenal beat. The team that was in the Champions League, the team that has beaten PSG, the team that's done some things. Is top 4 last year. They've had some injuries. So how much should injuries count? Because you get them and then they hurt you when they happen. And then everybody's like, push on and just ignore it. But Should a coach get fired? They didn't fire Klopp because of his injuries last season. And now they've won the first trophy of a quadruple. And they're on top of the league and they're in all these contests. So sometimes, like, Klopp got to build the credit that kept him in the job. But I don't think, I just think, just based on, I don't think Chelsea should fire Pochettino. I just don't think Chelsea, I don't think Newcastle should fire Eddie Howe. And I think when we're going to get to it, that Ten Hag should get a chance too, because this has been an unusual season of injuries. Like, you can't say they don't affect things. So, yeah, I know some teams have won stuff. With that, United won the 1999 like Champions League final with significant, not even injuries, just players missing for cards, you know. But that was one game. It just, I people are going to make whatever decision they should make. So I'll just leave it like that. But Newcastle, let's see if Eddie Howe makes it at the end of the season, like you said. Aston Villa, they beat Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, 4-2.
4-2. And talking about starting fast. It wasn't as fast as Arsenal, but it might have been faster. Like, they jumped in Nottingham Forest ass, like, immediately. Bailey, just, I feel like buying Diaby, and I've said this before, like, made Bailey be like, all right, I got to be serious. I can't, like, fuck around. This is like the realest situation I've ever been in football, and I have to, like, focus and concentrate. Like, I don't want to just be in Birmingham not playing football. I want to be on the pitch. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta represent. And so, like, he showed out today, and he got assists. He got a goal. I just want to ask you a question. Whose assist do you think was better? His assist to Ollie Watkins or Ollie Watkins' assist to him?
Easily Bailey's to Watkins.
Yeah.
Because Watkins kind of, his one wasn't fully deliberate, like it kind of deflected off the keeper. Whereas Bailey's, he brought the ball down, he beat a man, and then he threaded it like through the eye of a needle, through that defender's legs to put it on a plate for Watkins as well. So just like the precision and the technique to do what he did to just lay that on a, you know, as an open goal for Watkins was pretty special. And like you say, he's taken his game to a different level this season.
Yeah, I do think, I guess Bailey's is clearly better. I feel like that was two nutmegs, like one on the player that was near him, and then the guy that spread his leg to like, you're not going this way, you're not going this way, you're not going under me. And he just went under a bridge that was collapsing, passed the ball under the bridge that was collapsing, and perfectly, no panic, no over touching it, perfect. But to defend Ollie Watkins, not saying his was better, but I watched that one a bunch of times to see, did he mean to pass this? And when he's falling, he's looking behind him to make sure the ball gets to. So I feel like he did it on purpose. I think he faked going that way, and so it looked on purpose. You got to watch it a bunch of times. What do you think about Villa in fourth, 52 points, in the top four, chasing the would-be champions, all three of them?
I mean, I kind of hope they stay in there, because it means if they do, Tottenham don't. And I don't want to see Tottenham getting Champions League. And also, I feel like Villa. It'd be interesting just to see them in there. and the extra finances that would bring them as well, and see what level that helps them compete at. I mean, you probably don't want that as a United fan, because you might think that you can still make a push for those spots.
I don't.
Okay, in that case, yeah, up the Villa. I hope they get that spot. Fuck Tottenham. Uh, let's hope it's a Villa spot. But yeah, I mean, from how they've been playing this season so far, they deserve it. You know, they took down Arsenal at home. They took down Man City at home. You know, they've been playing a really fun to watch attacking type of football as well, with you know, with players that want to score goals, players that want to beat people. They've had some young like academy products in there as well, with like Ramsey playing. And yeah, they're just a fun team to watch. Emery's a smart guy. And if they get, you know, if they get Champions League football, he knows European football. So he can set them up for that and manage them effectively within that. And yeah, just I think it'd be a good thing for them to get that. And I think, like, at the moment, you know, if the season was to stop and they were in there, you'd say they deserve it. So it's up to them to keep it going for 12 more games. Whether or not the lack of sort of experience in the team of being at that end of the table starts to play a part, because there's some players who won't have experienced that. But equally, they got some players, though, like, you know, Emi Martinez has won a World Cup. They'll be leaning on experience like him, because it doesn't matter who they play. If they're still in the top four going into like the last 5 or 6 games of the season, every game, no matter, even if it's against Palace, even if it's against Sheffield United or whatever, every game will feel like a big game at that point. Every game will be a cup final, to, you know, give it the old cliche. So yeah, they'll need their experienced players to step up and guide the other ones who might not have been in that position before through that. But I think they can do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going to catch him, especially with all these new injuries. And yeah, like, it's always good to see Tottenham get a little sunned and, like, hold on now, Tottenham, slow down, slow your roll. So yeah, if it ain't going to be us, might as well be Villa. So yeah. Speaking of Tottenham, they are 5th. They didn't play, so they got a game in hand, but they got 47 points. They're, was that 5 points behind Villa?
Yes, yeah, 5 points.
5 points. So yeah. And then we go to Man United. We're 6. Somehow we're 6.
A quick side note as well: Villa play Tottenham on the 10th of March.
Oh,
so
shit.
a couple of weekends away. Yeah, they're gonna play each other, and it's either side. Well, it's in the middle of Villa's 2 legs against Ajax in the Conference League. So it goes Ajax, Tottenham, Ajax. So it's a big few days for Villa there. If I was them, I would rotate the team for the Villa game. Conference League doesn't mean shit unless you're a West Ham fan. So you need to be going all out for the Champions League. Play the kids against Ajax. Who cares? Get that Champions League spot.
I mean, that's a difficult position to be in, because, like, Emery is a European trophy addict, and this is a legit chance to win a trophy, especially for a club that hasn't been in Europe in a minute. And it's a chance for them to win the trophy, and a chance for them to finish in a competition next year where they possibly definitely won't win it. So do you take the trophy or go for the top 4 to get in the Champions League, which you won't win next year? It's a tough call. I wonder if I should ask a Villa fan what they would prefer: top 4 or Europa Conference League.
They'll say top 4.
They'll say top 4. Yeah, after not winning anything for like decades.
Yeah, Champions League's, especially the Conference League as well. It's not even the full Europa League. Even if it was the full Europa League, though, I would still say Champions League is more meaningful, to be honest. I think it just sets them up with more finance. It attracts better players to the club if they can, you know, dangle that Champions League carrot in front of them next year. Brings bigger games to the club as well. They can go up against the best next year. And Yeah, I'd be going all out for Champions League if I was them.
I go for that trophy, bro. I'll go all in for the trophy, man. I don't care. You just gotta have some tangible shit. Because later on they'll be like, it's just top 4. But when you have something on your shelf that you could look at, like, even though West Ham fans don't give a fuck that there's a trophy on their empty shelf. They're like, Moyes out, you know? So who knows? United versus Fulham, like, with 6. We got 44 points. You said there's how many games left?
12.
12. And 12 times 3, what's the maximum amount of points? 12 times 3 is
36.
What? All right, because I don't want to finish the season with less than 70 points. I'll feel bad if we even just only have within 70 points. I'm like, why can't we just be better than that? Like, we're just looking at it from that perspective. And so we lost to Fulham. We came out sluggish. I don't even think they came out that sharp. That's how sluggish we were. I feel like they were just the less sluggish of the 2 sluggish teams, you know, because people that were doing the punditry were saying that Fulham looked sharper. Now, they were slow, but we were just slower, you know, so then they looked better and they created better chances. And in the second end of the first half, we kind of like got into the game and it ended 0-0. But at the beginning of the first half, Fulham went full in and just committed to try to win this game. And they got a goal from it. And I think it was Bassey. And he had 2 swipes at it. One of his own players blocked the first one and then but set it for him. Like, it's almost like a field goal set in American football. And he just blasted through the uprights. And yeah, they went up, and it's like, I'm sitting on the couch, like, the guy said it on TV, said it was coming, and yeah, it was coming. But then we started to play, and you know, listen, we have injuries, so no Holland. We had to start Fortson, this kid who looked a little lost out there. But if you start Fortson on the right, you have Ahmad, who has way more experience than Fortson, who played for us, who played for Rangers, and he also played last season successfully. Was it Sunderland he was at?
Yeah.
And did great. He was Sunderland's player of the year in the championship. Like, why are you starting Fortson when Ahmad plays on the right too? And when Ahmad came in with like 12 minutes left, in the 12 minutes he was on, he looked better than Fortson. So that move I don't understand. You know, it's tough to lose a player like Holland, like at a time like this. Like, again, we've just been decimated with injuries. No Luke Shaw, no Martinez, and Casemiro played, I think, 1/2, got a head injury, and then was out. So then we have to put in Scott McTominay earlier, which you're not going to get much defense from him. And he's a situational player. You can't play a situational player as in a position. You put him on before we're in the situation where we need him. You know, I did like bringing Eriksson in, but he was rusty. People said he was slow and the game was passing by. I just think he hasn't played in a long time. You know, he was giving me Calvin Phillips vibes. You know, just a guy who hasn't played in a long time. You're going to lose some balls, make some mistakes, but he did get into the game a little bit later on. So I just, the only thing, did you hear what Eric Ten Hag said after the game?
No.
I'm too lazy to look for it. And I don't want to misquote him, but I kind of understand what he's meant, but I also understand when people are like, what you said doesn't make any sense. And let's just leave it like that. and Bruno Fernandes, like I was telling you, I asked you if a shot on goal that's parried and then rebounded as an assist. He had an assist this game. Harry Maguire scored, but I still don't rate him because you watch the totality of his game, and you're like, he's just klutzy, bro. It's cartoonish how, like, if Benny Hill wanted to film himself like falling on a pitch, he could just use Harry Maguire clips and just graph his face on it. It's like, for the money we paid for him and for the pay that we're paying him, you could get a world-class defender, like world class. So without even shitting on Harry Maguire, like, I would just like that money to go to an elite defender because we're paying elite defender money. So I'll leave it at that. Well, how do you feel about us losing to Fulham? And I hate that, Andre Pereira can come to back to Man United and feel like he had a game of games. I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, Fulham, like you say, probably had the bigger chances. In terms of the stats, it was a pretty even game. I think a draw probably would have been justifiable. But yeah, I mean, I feel for Højlund just because, he was in a run of form. And I think that was helping drive you on to the results you were getting, and to lose him and then lose a game as well. Just, I think it just brings the mood down when you've been making progress. And yeah, just the guys you're missing at the back, Luke Shaw as well, out for another couple of months now because of another muscular injury. But Højlund's was a muscular injury as well. So it's like, sack the
I feel like
sack
we're
the rehab team,
overtraining.
sack the sports science team. Something's going wrong with these guys. So yeah, I don't know what that's about. And Maguire, yeah, I mean, he was lucky to get away with one of the tackles he made in that game. It was
See
over
what
the
I'm
ball.
saying?
Yeah, it was over the ball into the ankle, studs up. Red cards have been given for that this season in other games. So I feel like he got away with one there, and then he missed that big chance as well, the header that he didn't even get on the target. And then by the time he scored that goal, it's like, well, yeah, you kind of should be doing this to make up for all the all the stuff you've messed up today. But yeah, when Harry Maguire's scoring your only goal, that's a problem because that's saying that you're not doing what you need to be doing in the attacking areas with the rest of your team. So yeah, I think it's a frustrating one. I'd be very frustrated with that if I was a United fan, given the form you were in, and then to have those injuries hold you back again. It is frustrating, and I can kind of get what Ten Hag, because Ten Hag was talking after the game about like the bigger picture and that you're still moving in the right direction, kind of thing. And football fans don't want to hear rational talk like that.
Right.
Especially after a lot like that. I don't know what football fans want after a loss. Because if a manager comes out and they're like, yeah, we were terrible. If the manager comes out and says, I got it wrong tactically, that's on me, they'll go, well, you're not good enough. Fire him. If he comes out and says, we're still moving in the right direction, the bigger picture kind of thing, they'll be like, oh, he's deluded. And if he comes out and says the players were bad, then it's like, oh, you're not protecting your players.
Right.
It's like there's no real answer, I think, that a manager can give after a game like that where the fans won't react one way or another a little bit sort of over the top. People don't want to hear rational talk like that.
All right, so you do get it, because I was like, I do get it, but I get why people are upset, because the emotionalness of it. But
yeah,
I do feel like we're going in the right direction. We have Garnacho, who did play good yesterday. Like, when you lose, and the thing is, if we'd have tied that game, which means after if we got on a point, that means we'd have to like kind of down tools afterwards and send on the defensive players. I've seen them criticize us for doing that and Ten Hag for doing that. You know, you Fulham at home, you should have went for it. Well, we went for it. After we tied it, we went and everybody was cheering until they counted us. Now, I would say one thing. If you are playing any team with Adama Traore on it, right? Like, even if it's the beginning of the game, but especially when you put him in at the end of the game, you got to watch out for this guy. You got to you two, that's your man. And one of y'all, I don't know which one, decides how to get the professional foul in first before it gets to a situation where he either passes to the person who's going to take a shot on goal or he's going to take the shot on goal. Like, I didn't even know he was with Fulham. I was thinking about him. I was like, where is he? Well, I found out where the fuck he's at. He plays for Fulham and he hurt us yesterday. But Fulham, you got the fucking win. Pissed me off. Depressing beginning of the day, but I went to a wedding later on Saturday, and it was a fun wedding. Congratulations, Iman and Nikki. Brighton versus Everton. Brighton 7th, they got 39 points. So even though we lost, they only gained 1 point. And Everton should have pulled us this game off. You're playing Brighton, they're good, but Everton is really good defensively. They don't let in a lot of goals. So once Brighton goes down a man and you're up a goal, you should be able to hold on to this. This is your forte. This is what you do. And for you to let them get that goal, I'm disappointed in you. Especially, you need all the points you can get, Everton. You're in the relegation zone, bro. You don't know if they're gonna deduct more points from you. You gotta finish this off. You hope to beat this team, and then you have them where you want them, and then you don't finish it. You can't let that happen. So, Brighton, you got a point. I don't know if you have any thoughts on Brighton getting a point from Everton, but I was disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, they should have. It's a sort of game at home that Brighton should be winning if they want to be the club that they're trying to be now. And they got away with some stuff in this. There was an amazing goal line clearance off the line with his head by Tariq Lamptey. In this one, Decore volleyed the ball and it beat the keeper completely, and he managed to get back and head it off the line. Yeah, they had some chances. Brighton had some chances too. I think a draw was probably about fair in the end, but Brighton should have really stepped their game up and tried to, get the win in this one, because it's the sort of game they should be winning. But it happens. Everton they're not an easy team to play against, and they did create those chances. So yeah, credit to Everton for getting the draw, but Brighton should be stepping up and going into another gear if they want to be considered like a top 8, top 6 team eventually, which is what they're kind of aiming for. But yeah, but credit to them for going down to 10 men and still salvaging, because it was 1-0 to Everton at that time, and going down to 10 men against Everton in the late stages of the game.
That's what I was like. Everton got this.
Yeah. And then, just to keep going, Gross did really well on that goal because he wasn't trying to rush the ball into the box. He sort of chopped back a couple of times, like, okay, let me open up an optimum crossing position, rather than just because when teams are chasing a game late on, they'll just smash the ball into the box from shit positions, stuff that's easy for defenders to clear. He's like, no, let me work this opportunity, let me get the ball into the right area, and then Dunk, just powerhouse, wanted to get on the end of it, and it gave Pickford no chance.
Yeah, Dunk. I mean, who's it? Gross. He was like, let me cook. Don't let me pass this too soon. Let me let it bake in the oven and take it out at the right time, and boom, and there goes Dunk. But yeah, Wolves, they're 8th. They got 38 points. There's no chance of them being relegated. I think they were in the relegation zone last season. They got 12 games. How many games did we say they got left? 12?
Yeah.
Damn, 12 games left, and they got 38 points. with a coach that was fired last season. And so Gary O'Neill, you did your thing. They beat Sheffield. Sheffield had some good chances in this game.
Brewster.
Yeah.
Wasted some chances.
Yeah. But Sheffield was doing that low block, spring the fast break on you type shit to try to catch them out. And Wolves was playing front foot football. But, if Wolves had lost this game, they was just going to get a taste of their own medicine because this is what they do to teams. But they obviously felt stronger than Sheffield. So it's like, we got to go front foot. And Sheffield is like, let's go low block and fast break on them. And so, but Wolves won. So I'm happy ultimately for Gary O'Neill. Yeah.
I think Wolves are a little bit surprised as well because Wolves are normally the team doing the fast break. They showed it against Tottenham recently, against Chelsea as well. They did it, and this time they had the ball, and it was kind of like, oh no, what do we do? What do we do when the other team doesn't want the ball? But what I will say,
that guy in the stripes just passed the ball to me.
What I will say though is I put Sarabia in my fantasy team this week.
Oh shit!
And he came up big with a goal. He's a midfielder on there as well, so he got the clean sheet points. He got some bonus points. So yeah, I want to pat myself on the back for that one because not many people have him. I went for it, and yeah, it was a bargain.
And he scored, right?
Yeah.
That header. That wasn't even a Sarabia type goal.
No.
But he scored. He's good, man. I wonder if Wolves is going to be dumb enough to sell him like they sold Jota. I feel like Wolves, anytime Wolves can make a buck, they'll be like, "What you got? Let me see that cash." But and then they end up in a relegation zone the next season, and then they're like, "Let's fire the coach." I was like, "Hey man, why'd you sell the players?" Newcastle, we discussed them losing. They got pounded by Arsenal, man. They just got ran all through. It was definitely like a night out on the town, and you just hurl everything up. Like you just cannot control what's happening to you. West Ham didn't play, so there's the this is the only week David Moyes gets a break from people wanting him fired.
He's been offered a new contract as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, so at least the West Ham respects him.
They said though he's not going to make a decision on it till the end of the season.
All right. Maybe he's a noble man and he wants to see, like, if I can pull this together, then. But they're 10th. They got 36 points. They ain't in there's no way they're gonna get relegated. They're not in the battle. It's not even a problem. It's just like, they want to be higher up in the table. It's good to be ambitious, but like you always say, be careful what you wish for, West Ham fans. Chelsea, we talked about them. They lost the Carabao Cup. Neil is pissed. A lot of Chelsea fans are pissed. Man. So they have 35 points. We talked about Fulham because they beat us. They got 32 points. They're 12. Crystal Palace, what do you think of their new manager bounce?
I mean, that's exactly what it is, isn't it? Is the new manager bounce? They're feeling the full effect of that right now. I kind of think they were maybe a little bit fortunate in this game, in that, I mean, they showed up against a Burnley team that are barely there right now. So, that if you're the manager and you're coming in for your first actual game in the dugout, because he was just there at the game last time against Everton. Right. He was there watching, even though he had, input into the formation and the selection. Like if you could pick a game at home after Sheffield United, possibly as your first choice, Burnley would be your next choice.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be Luton or it wouldn't be Everton.
Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, just a nice one to start with. Ayew, credit to him. He's stepping up for him recently. And doing his thing. Richards as well. Like I forgot he was even there. The American dude. So
What
he popped
position
up with
does
a
Richards
goal.
play again?
He's a right back, I think. Um, he's a defender of sorts. He's had horrible time with injury though,
Hmm.
since he signed for them. So yeah, he's there now doing it. So yeah, just he's changed the system up as well. The new manager.
Hmm.
Um, so and they're still not got their key players as well. So
Yeah, they no
interesting.
Eze, no Alessi, so that's pretty good.
Mhm.
And they playing front foot football? It seemed like they was playing front foot.
I think a little bit more so than they have done. Let me just have a look at the stats because Burnley like having the ball.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, the red card after 35 minutes is going to affect that a little bit. They had 56% possession, Palace, which
Right.
is more than they're probably used to. But yeah, the red card did change the game a little bit.
It happened in the 35th minute. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, like, listen, you're talking. You said if you're a new coach coming into Crystal Palace, Burnley would be one of the teams that you want to face. But Burnley with a red card in the 35 minute is like icing on the cake. That's like
mm,
football God saying, we welcome to the league, and we're going to give you a chance to be around here for a minute as coach of this team.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Trying to think. Get back to the standings on this. It says Crystal Palace 13th, Bournemouth 14th. And we discussed that they just lost narrowly to Man City. Brentford didn't play. Bournemouth still got games in hand, though.
Mm.
They only played 25 games. So they
Yeah.
got games in hand. So they got 28 points, 25 games played, a game in hand. Brentford, 25 points, a game in hand. They didn't play this week. A bunch of teams didn't play this week. We talked about Nottingham Forest, Everton. We discussed them up top. They're 17th for 21 points. Luton didn't play either. They played midweek or something. They lost to Liverpool midweek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they went one goal up. They were winning 1-0 at half time, and then they made Liverpool mad, in the words of their manager. And then Liverpool came back strong.
Uh-huh. Which team has a new manager? I forgot. Is it because we haven't talked about
Palace, who we just talked about.
there's
Their
somebody else
manager's
too,
new.
right? Nah, maybe yeah,
Um,
maybe it's just Palace. Maybe it's just Palace. You know anything about that Palace new manager?
yeah, he won the Europa League with Frankfurt, when they beat
Oh,
Rangers in the final the other year. Yeah, he's an experienced Bundesliga manager. It'd be interesting to see how he gets on here. Because I don't think he's. Let me just have a look. So I know he was at Frankfurt, and I think he was at a um, couple other clubs, but I can't remember exactly
that's
which
pretty
ones. Let me
impressive
just.
for Crystal Palace to pull that.
Yeah, because he's Austrian. He managed a couple of clubs in Austria, and then he managed Wolfsburg, and then Frankfurt. Um, yeah, he won the Europa League in his first season. With them. So yeah, and he got them into the Champions League knockout stages.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Who did he beat?
as well
Roma
in his
or
seconds in the Europa League.
yeah,
They beat Rangers from Scotland in the final.
in the final? All right, yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's like 2
and then
years ago.
and then that season he qualified for the Champions League as well, and
Mm-hmm.
got them through to the knockout stages. So yeah, it's a good get for Palace. I think that just shows the draw of the Premier League, though. He's probably on more money at Palace than he was at Frankfurt winning European trophies.
Oh shit.
And it's an opportunity for, I think, it's a shop window, isn't it? If a manager comes in, does a good job at Palace, he might get hired by,
Mm-hmm.
he might be able to get a job at one of those bigger clubs. Because he was linked with Tottenham before Ange got the job.
Mm-hmm.
So his name has been around bigger jobs. So I think if some of those big clubs want, if they see him doing a good job at Palace, he might get considered for for other roles if they come up in a year or two. So,
what's his name again?
Oliver Glasner.
Oliver Glasner, and he's Austrian.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Luton's 18th. They did not, or they lost midweek to Liverpool, like we said. Burnley is 19th on 13 points. Jesus Christ. Like, these teams are gone. At least Luton's got 20 points. Everton's got 21. Luton has a game in hand. Nottingham Forest has 24. And let's go as far as Brentford. So I give them, they could catch Brentford, but I doubt it because Brentford got like the same amount of games and Luca Toni. And is it Luca? What am I saying? What's his name? Ivan Toney. What am I saying? Luca Toni. They got Ivan Toney. So you know the Brentford season should start going upwards. You know, depending on the difficulty of some games. I think they lost to Man City last week. You expect that. You know, but you know, there's going to be some teams that they wouldn't beat it early in the season without Ivan Toney that they're going to beat with Ivan Toney now. So let's just I would even take them out of this equation. So yeah, we'll see. But Burnley, 13 points, bro. That is low. And sorry, Vincent Company, but it is what it is. And then Sheffield, we talked about them playing Wolves, and they have 13 points. But they only lost by 1 this week. So this is their best loss recently.
Did you see their two players having a fight though?
Yes, yeah, saw that. Like, you fight in the game that you almost won, but you didn't fight in the games where you were losing 5-0, 5-0, 5-0. Like now you want to fight, guys? It's a little late. You should be kind of confused. Do you know why that happened? What that beef was about?
Nah, just obviously something to do with in the game. One of them just I mean, it'll be someone accusing someone of not doing something. I don't know what though. But yeah, I mean, those things happen in football.
Right.
Like I had that in games where I would, shout at someone, they'd shout back, but it never resorted to like physicality whenever I was involved in that sort of stuff in games. That's when there's some issues there when it results in like shoving and a push kind of thing, that sort of stuff. It's like, okay, there's maybe it's about more than what's happening right now on the field. There's something happened on the training ground with those guys. Who knows? Because like people digging each other out and then biting back. That happens all the time. That's just sport.
The 13 points from all these games tell me there's issues, but but over here they went to VAR to see if anybody's doing dangerous. Yeah. So listen, it's already gone bad.
I tell you what, I think it was. I think one of them said to the other one, "You're worse than Mason Holgate," and they just they just lost their shit.
There's no way I'm taking that. You can talk about my mom, talk about my sisters, talk about my dad, but don't you ever accuse me of being worse than Mason Holgate. But I wanted one of them to get sent off because, like, you're already there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've just never seen a player get ejected for throwing a dangerous punch at their own player, and I wanted that history to be made. You know what I'm saying? That's bananas. Like, fuck it, let's do it. Like, you're already at the bottom of the league. Let me just look at the games that's coming up in the Premier League this weekend. See what's the game. And there's a game tomorrow. West Ham versus Brentford. That's where they're at. So West Ham, Brentford. And then your boy speaking of Ange, Postecoglou, you know how you mentioned that Crystal Palace coach was up for that job?
Mm.
That's who Crystal Palace is playing next week, Tottenham. So that's ironic that you said that. Which is the games next week. I guess the biggest game is Man United versus City at City. Oh man, so be ready. So we lost to Fulham. Like if we'd have beat Fulham, no no matter how bad we lost to City, the fans would take it. But now that we lost to Fulham, if we get bashed at City, Eric Ten Hag is going to go back to rewind back to 5 weeks ago when everybody was like, not everybody, but the ones who were saying it, Ten Hag out. So that's a tough one with injured players. Their injured players are back. This is a tough one for United. So that's probably the game of the week. Wolves versus Newcastle should be interested a little bit. And then Tottenham versus Crystal Palace. Any games like stick out to you?
Trying to think what ones I pick people for fantasy football for. No, there's Newcastle Wolves. I think will be a fun one to watch just because the pressure's on Newcastle now to get back on track, and Wolves are just a fun team to watch. Villa going away to Luton. We said it before. Luton don't really give anyone anything for free, so Villa are going to have to go and earn that one if they want to keep things going on. The Manchester derby is obviously the biggest one there. But interesting games there. I think Liverpool should be fine at Forest. Arsenal should be more than fine at Sheffield United, unless they can direct that fight at the opposition rather than themselves. And I think Brentford Chelsea will be an interesting one as well.
Yeah. That should be. Yeah. Because if I'm giving them the props of like putting their season in reverse and going the other way up the table because Ivan Toney's back, then this is one of those matches where that could happen. So yeah. I went to the FA Cup. What do you think your chances Southampton against Liverpool on Wednesday?
Nothing. I don't think we're getting anything out of this game. Like I say, even if we were still in our good form, I don't think we would get anything. And now we're not in good form, and I just don't think we're good.
What's not good? What's going on?
We've lost 3 of our last 4 games now, which isn't ideal. It's messed up our automatic promotion hopes. They got my hopes up with the big unbeaten run and then just dashed it with this last 4 games. And also our manager said that we're going to go to Liverpool and play our normal game, which is high possession, which is wanting the ball. And I think that's a recipe for getting ourselves fucked up against a Klopp team that knows how to press. Because the 3 games we've lost in the 4 recently have all been teams who pressed us high and stopped us from building. And we didn't have a plan B. They just came at us. They shut down the passing options. They forced us to make mistakes in our own half, and then they got at us and scored the goals. So we lost to Bristol City the other week. We lost to Hull midweek. We lost to Millwall on Saturday. Millwall were a little bit different. They were a little bit more defensive. They did us on set pieces a little bit and a penalty. So it is what it is. But yeah, Bristol City and Hull especially, they came at us, they pressed us, and we're going to play against a Jurgen Klopp team. If we try and play out, they're going to press us.
You know what Klopp said? The person who interviewed him after the game was like, "So you won the first of a potential quadruple," but Klopp was like, "Yeah, but there's a reason why no club has ever won a quadruple because the games are too many." Like he said, we have to play Southampton on Wednesday. So now that this contest is over, it's like he's like, saying there's too many games and they got too many injuries, and you could tell by the substitutes that he had to put into the final, like they're kind of bare bone in it. So you might have a chance. It might not be the right strategy. I ain't trying to get your hopes up. And Klopp is always Debbie Downer because he still plans on winning, no matter what he tells people on the mic. Like his intention is he'll tell you what he feels the challenge is, but he's gonna tell the players, let's go win this shit. You know, he's just against capitalism at a certain point. And so he always wants to let capitalism know, hey man, you motherfuckers are too greedy. But you know, he's definitely gonna try to win this thing.
Yeah, he's always moaning about the schedule.
Pep moaned about the schedule in his post-season. Post game interview too. Yeah. We got to play Nottingham Forest. I'm trying to think, where are we playing at? Let me see if I can see. I think, are we there or are they coming to us? We go to them. So that's tough. Play Ahmad. We could lose 3 games in a row. We lost to Fulham. That's how important the Fulham game was for United. Because now we're banged up. Because we showed that with a little bit more energy, and we were only motivated to manufacture that energy after we went a goal down and when we were tired. So we could have played. Like I said, I never thought Fulham was exerting this extra amount of energy over us. They were just playing with more energy than us. But I feel like they were sluggish too, and we were just more sluggish. But like when you go a goal down, you get that energy, the adrenaline starts pumping. It's like, oh, we're at home. Shit, fuck it. This is Fulham. We ain't gonna let this shit happen. We don't care what type of injuries we got. So, but not doing that sooner, like this is coach getting fired territory. Because Forest ain't gonna just give you the next round in the FA Cup. And if we don't get and we don't win up there, and then City's next, and we just lost to Fulham, the whole Ten Hag out starts all over again. So tricky times for United. Brighton Wolves is a good FA Cup match.
Yeah. Especially with, like we were saying earlier, Wolves prefer to play that solid defensively, fast break counter attack style, and against Brighton, who want the ball.
Perfect.
That'll be a good fun matchup to see which of those two tactical elements wins out.
Sarabia will be like, why are you passing the ball to me in my half? Pass it to them. Pass it to them, then tackle it, get it from them, and then hit me on the run. You know what we do? Do you want to do fantasy league?
I'm hoping that I can get some points tomorrow, because at the moment I'm a little bit behind Martin for this week.
Oh yeah,
but not by too much. But his whole team has played, so all of his. Oh no, he's got Areola in goal for West Ham against Brentford. So that's his one player in that game. His entire team has played. And he, for the week, currently is on 56. I'm currently on 41. So he's 15 points ahead of me. But I have Flecken in goal for Brentford. I have me in defence for Brentford. I have Tony in attack for Brentford. So I need Brentford to fuck West Ham up tomorrow. I need Ivan Toney to score a hat-trick. And then I can keep pace with Martin. I at least need Brentford to keep a clean sheet, because I've got Flecken and me, so goalkeeper and defender. If Brentford keep a clean sheet and Tony scores, that'll be great for me. I kind of got messed up by Pep this weekend as well, because I've got De Bruyne in my fantasy team, and he benched him. He benched him, and then he brought him on for 6 fucking minutes. And that would have got him 1 point, but he got booked in those 6 minutes, which is -1 point. So I've got Kevin De Bruyne in my team who scored me 0 points. And I wouldn't care if he hadn't played, because if he doesn't play, then someone on your bench comes in, and my first bench player would have been Jared Bowen, who's going to play for West Ham against Brentford tomorrow as well.
That's
I'm
a
sure
win-win.
he would have got. I'm sure he would have got more than 0 points. Exactly. So now I've got to cheer for Brentford all out to give me a chance of catching Martin. But Joachim Henriksen is still number 1. He's up there. Ahmad Zekri, number 2 still, and Joey Duda, number 3. He's clinging on to number 3. The guy behind him, Jose Stable, is closing in on him. He's only 1 point behind, but
get him Stable.
That's where we are right now. Neil didn't move. Neil's still 31 out of 35. No movement. So yeah, that's where we're at with the fantasy.
All right, dope. And then I guess I asked a question earlier on about like Barca, Bayern, and Liverpool both going to need head coaches at the end of the season. Do you ever remember a season where 3 major teams like that, teams that have like won their leagues recently, like are like going to be out of a coach, and where they're going to get these coaches from?
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember if there's ever been that many at once. And who knows if there'll be more. You know, PSG might be looking for another coach at the end of the season, because they seem to fire their coach every other season. So, although I think Luis Enrique is doing okay there. So,
I would, if I was him, I would leave. To be honest, like one of these jobs is he'd be perfect at one of these jobs. Like I feel like he's always gotten. Not that any club is easy to coach at the top, but
yeah,
Barca, he had to follow Pep. He won the treble, and they still weren't happy. They're just like Xavi is leaving because of those fans and the media there. So then, even though he was successful, then now he's at PSG where they're already French, and now they have the entitlement of having Mbappe and players like that, so they feel like we should win. And even though Messi's not there no more, Neymar's not there no more, like subconsciously the fans feel like he still has access to those players, so they want the results that you would get if you had those players. So shit, man, like this, he'd do great at Liverpool. Then he shouldn't go back to Barca, and Bayern, I think, is getting to be one of those thankless jobs. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Their nickname's FC Hollywood because there's always some drama happening there. Even when they're winning, they find drama. Right. So when they're losing, best believe there's going to be some drama. It's just the way it is. And I mean, it's interesting for Xabi Alonso because this is like his first season of first team management. He was at Real Sociedad's B team for a little bit first. He learned his trade, outside the spotlight, and then he's come in. They've equaled the longest unbeaten run in German football. They could beat it with their next game. It's like if you win a league there, do you not want to take them into the Champions League and do that and learn some more in an environment where you're valid? Because he could go to Bayern and be fired this time next year already,
right? Because
of something. I don't know. He's got an affinity with them. Liverpool's an interesting one, because I was having this conversation the other day with Alexis Guerreros from the Cooligans.
Oh yeah, those guys up.
He was over in London, and it was me, him, and a Liverpool fan having a conversation about it, and he was just saying like, you can't, like, he's a player with a lot of history at a club, but you can't follow Klopp. Like, he'll be your Moyes. Like Moyes was at United following Ferguson. It's like it's hard to come in and follow one of those guys, and I agreed with that. Because it's a perfect fit on paper.
Mm-hmm.
For Xabi Alonso, he wins the league with Leverkusen, or at least does very well with Leverkusen, then goes to Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting one of their former players in, but it's like, yeah, it's hard to go in and follow someone with a legacy. They kind of need to just run through a manager or two before that. Someone that's just going to come in, not be able to live up to Klopp, and then get fired, and no one cares, kind of thing.
I know, man. They. It's funny they were talking about that too, like following Klopp,
Yeah.
And but if it's gonna work for anybody, it would be Xavi. Like, just think of like what he's doing now, and he has to win the Bundesliga. Like they're all like trying to hire him based on the speculation that he is gonna win the Bundesliga, so he has to win it. But if he goes there, and those players, they're looking at one of the most decorated people in football, European football history. He's won everything. World Cup. He won Champions League at Real and Bayern and Liverpool for sure. But I think he won the Champions League in all three places, plus leagues in all three places. And then he might win as a coach there. And he's just like the pedigree. Like I feel like they would give him a season off to a season off while he's on to get it together. And they'd be foolish not to. And even with this Ten Hag thing, like, hey man, Fergie was not great the first few seasons. You know what I mean? And people forget that. And the same thing.
I think Liverpool's squad is in a better place than yours was.
Way better.
Like Ferguson knew that team was good for that season only, pretty much. And then it was
that team shouldn't even have won the league. I looked at that whole season. I looked at that team, and I wanted other players. I felt like everybody that finished behind us had better pieces, better players in in the same positions, and I still don't know how we won. Like Rooney wanted to leave. So here's some irony. So Xhaka, who would have thought that Xhaka, who left Arsenal, now Arsenal are second behind Liverpool and have a chance to win the league, but now he's in the Bundesliga on a team being coached by Xavi, and they're at the top of the league, and he has a chance to win that league. And he's from Arsenal, and Kane is from Spurs, and Kane is with Bayern. and an Arsenal player might prevent Harry Kane, Spurs' latest greatest son, from winning a title and making him seem cursed. So it's just like the parallels of that happening. And I always felt it was a mistake for Arsenal to buy the players they bought and let go of Xhaka, but maybe they had to financially, because financial fair play is real, or whatever the new name that they got for it now. But it's just the drama and the parallels of football. And have you been watching PSG lately? Any highlights?
Not really. No, I know that Enrique's there and he's doing okay. I think they're top of the league by some distance. Let me just double check the margin.
They drew today, or yesterday, or the day before against Rennes.
Yeah, Rennes are a half decent side this season, I think. Let's have a look at the table. Rennes are seventh, but yeah, they're top of the league by 11 points still.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, but there's just one thing to mention. Guess who's been playing down the middle?
Mbappe.
Yeah.
Luis Enrique's doing him a favor. He's prepping him.
prepping
him for Real.
Prepping him for Real.
I say Luis Enrique's doing him a favor. Mbappe probably went to the board and went, I need to learn how to play down the middle. Tell Enrique I'm playing down the middle now. Because that's how things work at PSG.
But that's pretty crazy, because the whole thing was like, it didn't make sense, the fact that he was going to go there. but you know, but there were some attractive. Who's the best young player in the world? Like I'm gonna miss some of the names of them, but then there's Barclay, right? He plays in the Mbappe position for PSG. So there's Barclay, and then PSG has another one. I really like this guy. He's younger than
The
Barclay.
one, which one?
Barcola, my bad. There's Barcola.
Yeah, I think it's the guy with the two names. And I'm blanking on them right now. Yeah, because there's Barcola, and then there is Zaire Emery.
Sire, he's super intelligent, like football
Mm.
IQ, like it's crazy. Then you go to Liverpool and some of the players that they played today and have been playing, like the guy that's
Mm.
coming for Trent Alexander-Arnold. And then I haven't seen Duns do a lot. I know he had a great assist the game before against Luton. And then you go to Newcastle with what's their kid?
Lewis Miley.
Lewis Miley. And then you go to United. You go to Kobe Mainu, and in Chelsea got Carlton. Is it Palmer?
Cole Palmer, yeah.
Cole Palmer, and then you look at all the ones Real Madrid got, and Real Madrid got a kid named Ibrahim, who's just like under the radar, just murdering people. You know what I mean? Like they're starting to take him serious. He's not as young as these guys, but and he was on loan and he's there now.
Yeah.
But he's doing some shit. And then who else got new players?
I mean, obviously Bellingham, we just
Mhm.
said as well, is one of the big ones. The guy at Barca, Lamine Yamal, is
Yes.
super. He's super young.
16.
Yeah. He played so in the Champions League round that just
Mhm.
happened. He played for them, and Pepe played for Porto against Arsenal,
Oh
and
shit.
Pepe is 40 now, and Pepe made his Champions League debut um, before Lamine Yamal was born.
Crazy.
So you have one guy who's still playing in this tournament, and another guy who was playing in it when, yeah.
Shit. It's crazy. Like he's 16. And they have some other youngsters too that they're being forced to bring through because they don't have no money. And some of them ain't bad either, Barcelona. I'm
But
trying
yeah,
to
I mean
think.
the ones that have been playing in the national team
Balde,
already. Not just Balde. Why am I blanking on all the names right now? Because I think they're injured at the moment.
Gavi and
Um,
Pedri.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, I think they're supremely talented, and
Yeah.
they've
And
already
they've been
played for the
playing so
national
long.
team at tournaments. Yeah, they came in the team at like 16, 17.
Yeah, they've been playing so long. They're only 18 and 19, but I don't even consider them
Yeah.
like new people, but they are new people. You know?
Plus, there's these. I mean, they're not proven yet, but there's a bunch of sort of new wave like Brazilian players that are coming over that have signed deals with teams.
Kendrickson
Um,
at or
Endrick,
Hendricks, yeah.
um, yeah, Endrick's coming over from Palmeiras to
Hendricks,
Real
yeah.
Madrid, so he'll be one to watch. I think Barca have got one coming as well. What's his name? Let me have a look at it. Barcelona. Vitor Roque. He's there now. He's 18.
Mm.
Because he just I think he came over in the window. So yeah, and he's already scored for them as well,
Oh
and got
shit.
sent off early on.
Oh,
um,
he's a real one.
but yeah, Vitor Roque. So there's a whole new wave of talent. It'd be interesting to see at what stage they develop. But if you had to put a title on one of them as the best young player in the world, Bellingham's for me.
I don't even consider him young, but
He's 20.
Yeah, I know he's just only 20. It's like it feels like it's cheating to put him in there, but you have to. It's like
Yeah.
what else? What else is there? But yeah, there's a lot of like I don't remember. Maybe it's just because you just see so much football, you forget. But I just don't remember seeing these men. And we left some names out for sure, but
Mm,
seeing like not just good players, like people who have the potential to be really special all at the
mm.
same time. And sometimes I see like Graham Souness and them talking about like how people are not as skillful as they were. And I'm like, have you been on the internet, bro? Like there's kids doing things that weren't around like 20 years ago. Like kids that just learned how to walk. So I think football is just getting crazier. Like there's
Mm.
this thing in England. I forgot the name of it. They have like a one-on-one competition between I forgot the age group of the kids. So it's like you have to take on, you go back and forth taking on someone, and some of the skills being on display is just like it's bananas. Like everybody's just, how in basketball 7-footers got handle, and that wasn't a thing because 7-footers just used to
Yeah.
get to the hole, but now a
Yeah.
7-footer can like take on a guard. So I don't know what because it's a running game. So whoever gets the ball and can take it down the court. So people are developing skills, man. So I don't know. The future of the game looks definitely bright. That's all I'm saying. I think that's it. That's it. You said you had a busy weekend.
Oh yeah.
What was
Yeah,
yours like?
I think I drove about 800, 900 miles this weekend.
Jesus,
Um,
you
it
left the
was a
country?
no, I just been up and down the country. Um, it was bad diary management on my part in that I had one. So my Friday show was out west,
Mm-hmm.
and then Saturday was up in
What's what's
Leeds,
what's west? Where west? What's the name of the place?
a county called Somerset,
Okay.
um, which is a 2 hour drive west from where I live.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I did 2 hours there, 2 hours back home. Next day, I drove 4 hours north to Leeds, two shows up there
Mm-hmm.
on the Saturday night. Opened one show, closed the other show, and then I stayed overnight. And then I drove to Bristol today, which was 4 hours from Leeds, which is out west as well. And then I did 2 hours back home from there. Um, so yeah.
Want to play bad calendar management poker? let's
Yeah.
let's go. Let's go. Like I had a I forgot that on Wednesday, some guys in Palm Spring, because I'm writing on a show.
Yeah.
It's called Survival of the Thickest for people who don't know. It's on Netflix. It just got nominated for some Image Awards. So that's the Image Awards is coming up. So this is season 2 right now. So I'm in a room. It basically got a 9 to 5, but I'm out on script this week, and that means like they give me 5 days, 5 business days to write my episode, and
Mm.
so I'm busy doing that, and then I find out by a text on Wednesday from Brandon because I've been so involved in the job that he's like, "Hey, could you make a 10 to 15 minute video to promote this show on Friday?" I'm like, what fucking show is that? And he sends a flyer. It's like, oh shit, I got to go to Palm Springs on Friday. So I got to go to Palm Springs Friday, come back Friday night, wake up. The games didn't start that early. It was like 7 o'clock. Watch some soccer, leave the crib, get a suit, go to go to a wedding at Houdini's house. Now, it's in Hollywood in Laurel Canyon. I didn't even know it was there until, and I also forgot that I got invited to this wedding. So I had to get close to go to the wedding. So I go to the wedding. Then this morning there was a brunch thing for the nominees for the Image Awards. So I had to go to that. Then I had to leave that. which was over 2, come here, do this podcast. Then I have after this podcast, I have a friend's engagement party. Plus, I have a show at the store at the same time. The script is due on Tuesday. Then I told Maximini that I would open up for him at the Irvine Barclay Center on Monday night. So then I had to cancel the show tonight, and I had to cancel. And I was also booked at the store Friday and Saturday night. So I had to cancel those shows to do the one in Palm Springs and be able to do the wedding, because there's no way to fit those shows in. And then now I have to cancel the show on Monday and the show tonight just to. Oof. So yeah, I fucked up. But I'm gonna try to get this script in on Tuesday. So wish me luck.
That's a Netflix show, isn't it? That one.
Yeah, it's a Netflix show. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, it's doing good. People watch it. So made it happen. You know, all the writers are good. Michelle Buteau's killing it, and cool, funny staff. Yeah. So that's it. All right. You want to promote anything?
No, just the socials. Lee Hudson Comedy on Instagram and Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. That's where I'll be.
Yeah, and then I'm Ian Edwards Comic on Instagram and Twitter, and I'm also gonna be performing at Hotel Cafe in Hollywood for the Netflix is a Joke Comedy Festival in May, and I'll be at Comedy Mothership in March, for March 29th and to the 31st. So check me out on those things. Everybody, thanks for listening and watching. We love you. Be good. Enjoy this new crop of talent. And good luck to your teams, unless they play in ours. One.